Some ruins in Skyrim are remembered with reverence, others with fear. But Ilinalta's Deep, once a mighty fort along the banks of Lake Ilinalta, is barely remembered at all. It's not marked as significant by the Empire. No bards sing of its fall, no guard really speaks of its name. And yet it's still here, sunken into the muddy western shoreline of the lake, choked with moss and rot, filled with magic that no longer follows rules. You don't hear about Ilinalta's Deep until you're really sent there, or until you do the Black Star quest. Not by the Empire and not by a mage, but by a bartender. And when you step through its broken archway, you realise why everyone stopped talking about it. Because this place was never abandoned, it was erased. From the outside, Ilinalta's Deep looks like a crumbled watchtower, barely distinguishable from the rocky banks around it. The entrance is narrow, half submerged in the wet earth of Lake Ilinalta's edge. But this wasn't always a ruin. Ilinalta's Deep was once part of a larger complex, possibly Fort Ilinalta, that kept watch over the lake, securing trade routes and deterring banditry. Some speculate it was a military outpost, or even a research annex tied to the College of Whispers. But now all that's left is the drowned skeletons of a stronghold, damp stone, collapsed ceilings, and corridors filled with necrotic echoes. Inside things move, but they aren't necessarily alive. Ilinalta's Deep is no ordinary dungeon. From the moment you step inside, it's clear the place has been repurposed. The waterlogged halls are strewn with bones, rusted weapons and ritual components, soul gems, burned candles, broken slaves. The floors drip, the walls weep, every room has signs of magical corruption, from half-decayed skeletons to strange altar setups. And as you go deeper, you stop wondering who caused the ruin, and you start wondering what it was turned into. Because Ilinalta's Deep didn't just fall into decay, it was desecrated. At the centre of the Ilinalta Deep mystery is one man, Malyn Varen. Once a respected enchanter at the College of Winterhold, Malyn grew obsessed with soul trapping, particularly the idea of using Azura's Star, a reusable soul gem for the mortal souls. This was forbidden, not just by the college, but by the Daedric prince Azura himself. And when he was expelled, Malyn fled to Ilinalta's Deep with a handful of loyal students, or victims depending on your perspective. There he continued his experiments, using Azura's artifact to trap human souls and to extend his own life. But it didn't save him at all. When the player enters Ilinalta's Deep during the Black Star quest, they don't find a living mage. They find a ruin haunted by what Malyn left behind. The enemies within Ilinalta's Deep aren't just skeletons and necromancers. They're the echoes of people who came here with Malyn. Some are named in dialogue, some are hinted at through notes or skeletal arrangements. The necromancers you fight in the deeper chambers likely include his former apprentices. One even says aloud, "This is what you wanted, isn't it, Malyn?" just before dying at your hands. And deeper still, you find Malyn's corpse, desecrated yet still active through the lingering magic of the star. His spirit, or what remains of it, now resides inside the corrupted Daedric artifact, the Black Star, still whispering and still lingering. Ilinalta's Deep didn't just bury his body, it became his echo chamber. Ilinalta's Deep is not like most dungeons in Skyrim. It's not Dweematech filled, it's not a Nord barrow, it's not tied to a major city or quest line beyond the Black Star, but it breathes. The layout is strangely non-linear, full of flooded staircases, collapsed floors, and sideways architecture. It feels more like an organism than a building, like you're inside something rotting from the inside to the out. There are strange magical circles, unexplained bone piles, and at one point a floating corpse in a side room, completely unreachable, just there, bobbing silently in a shaft of moonlight. It's not design, it's rather intent. You're meant to feel watched, because something in here never really left. For all its mystery, Ilinalta's Deep is only briefly acknowledged by the people who should care the most, the College of Winterhold. Only Nalakar, a former college member living in Winterhold's Inn, speaks of Malin. Even then, it's in whispers, and the college itself says nothing. No quest sends you to investigate the site other than the Black Star quest. No teacher warns about Malin's path. No student remembers the ruin by name other than Nalakar, which leads to an unsettling possibility. They know. They clearly know what Malin did. They know where he went, and they know what happened. And they chose to seal the memory rather than face the shame. Water plays a constant role in Ilinalta's Deep. It trickles from the ceiling, it covers the lower chambers, it laps at the corpses. There's something quite symbolic here, an idea that water buries, but never really purifies. Malin tried to escape death. He hid in a place already half sunk, thinking he could outlast morality. Instead, he ended up being a part of it. And the water didn't wash away, did it? It preserved it, just like the star did. At the heart of this dungeon is a philosophical horror, not just necromancy, but soul manipulation. Malin believed that souls could be bent, captured, reused. Azura's star, a holy artifact, was meant to trap only souls of lesser beings, ethically neutral. Malin corrupted it, trying to get it to accept black souls, one that accepts mortal souls, sentient beings. People, basically. When you retrieve the artifact, you're forced to choose to return it to Azura and it becomes a restored, holy relic, or give it to Nalakar and it remains dark, usable, and powerful. But no matter your choice, you can't undo what happened. The damage is done, and Ilinalta's Deep doesn't offer redemption, just history and silence. The last rooms of Ilinalta's Deep feel especially strange. You hear movement, you see lights flicker in unnatural ways. You open doors that shouldn't be unlocked. And maybe that's the final horror of this place. It doesn't just pull you in, it makes you a part of it. You walk out of Ilinalta's Deep with the star in your hands. The water behind you is still. No one will come to clean the ruin. No one will speak Malin's name ever again. No necromancer will raise it again until someone else finds it. But Ilinalta doesn't forget. The lake swallows stories, as I've said before. The fort beneath it preserves them. And when someone else comes seeking power, or answers, or silence, the door will still be open, and the fort will still be waiting.